All right, let's dive into the world of estheticians. Specifically, how to totally nail that job interview and make your mark in the beauty industry. There's so much info out there, it can be a little overwhelming, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, RoleCatcher itself has, what, over 3,000 career guides? But don't worry, we've gone through all of it. And we're going to give you just the must-knows for interview success. Think of it as your cheat sheet to landing that dream job.
I love that cheat sheet. And speaking of getting to the most important parts, let's start with the esthetician role itself. We've got a couple of RoleCatcher guides to help us today. We've got the Esthetician Career Guide and the Interview Guide. We'll also be talking about how their AI platform can add a little something extra to your job hunt.
Love it. So before we get to the interview itself, what does an esthetician actually do all day? I'm thinking facials, soothing music, maybe some aromatherapy.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the career guide kind of paints a wider picture. It's sort of like a blend of art and science. You've got your classic facials and massages, but also body treatments, hair removal, even makeup application for special occasions. It's all about helping people feel confident and look their best.
Okay, so it's more dynamic than just facials.
Yeah.
And speaking of dynamics, what about the work environment? The guide mentions that it can be demanding.
Right. The work environment section is definitely a reality check. Yeah, it can be glamorous, but you're also on your feet a lot, interacting with all sorts of clients, and maybe even dealing with a spa owner who is, well, a bit particular.
Oh, yeah.
So strong interpersonal skills are key. We're talking active listening, clear communication, and that really important ability to tailor your approach to each client. You know, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you practice responding to different client personality types. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so you need those people and skills to really shine through,
Mm-hmm.
especially in an interview. So let's say I'm sitting across from a potential employer. What are some questions I should be ready for?
Well, let's look at RoleCatcher's interview guide. One of the classic ones is, can you tell us about your experience in performing facials and analyzing skin? It might sound pretty simple, but they're looking for more than just a list of steps. They really want to see your passion, your expertise, and your understanding of all the different skin types and concerns out there.
So instead of just saying like, I cleanse, exfoliate, and moisturize, I need to show them I can actually assess a client's skin and tailor the facial to them.
Exactly. You could say something like, I've been performing facials for X years and I'm proficient in a range of techniques, from deep cleansing to anti-aging treatments. I always start by thoroughly analyzing the client's skin, considering their skin type, any conditions they might have, and their desired outcome. You're hitting those key words. Analyze, skin type, conditions. It shows you're thinking beyond just the basic steps.
That makes total sense. It's about showcasing your expertise, not just listing tasks. Now, the guy also mentions staying up to date with industry trends. How does that usually come up in interviews?
You might get a question like, how do you stay current with the latest skincare trends and technologies? This is where you can really show your enthusiasm. Mention industry publications you read, workshops you attend, or even influential estheticians you follow online.
So it's about showing them you're passionate about this field
Yeah.
and that you're committed to lifelong learning.
Exactly. And don't just drop names. Give some specific examples. You could say, I'm a regular reader of Dermoscope magazine, and I attend workshops on emerging technologies like laser treatments. I also follow leading estheticians, like mention a specific expert to get insights on the latest products and techniques.
Okay, that definitely paints a clear picture. Now, I'm curious about handling those tricky situations. What if a client is unhappy with a treatment? That feels like a potential interview landmine.
It can be. But the guide provides a great framework for tackling this type of question. It's all about showing you can handle conflict professionally and how you prioritize client satisfaction. You could say something like, I had a client once who was concerned about redness after a treatment. I listened to their concerns, explained the potential causes, and recommended a calming serum to help soothe their skin. I also followed up the next day to ensure they were happy with the results.
That's a great example. You stayed calm, you provided solutions, and you showed that you cared about the client's well-being.
And you know what's cool? RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor this type of answer to the specific job you're applying for. Say you're interviewing at a medical spa. The AI might suggest mentioning your knowledge of post-treatment protocols or your experience with specific skincare lines that are relevant to their practice.
Wow, so it's like having a personalized interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly. It takes the guesswork out of presenting your skills in a way that resonates with potential employers. But we've covered a lot already. How about we take a quick breather, and then we can jump back in with even more interview winning strategies.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be right back with more from RoleCatcher's Interview Guide and how it can help you shine.
Okay, so let's jump back into those interview questions. Remember, practice makes perfect, and RoleCatcher's AI can be like your secret weapon for really fine-tuning your answers and for making sure you're highlighting all the right skills.
That's right. It's like having a customized playbook for each interview. So what other questions should we be prepared for?
Let's see. One that often comes up is, how do you customize treatments for each client's individual needs? This is where you can really showcase that expertise, because it's not just about knowing the steps of a facial right, it's about showing that you can assess, analyze, and personalize.
Okay, I get it. So paint a picture for me. What would like a winning answer sound like?
All right, so imagine you're sitting across from the interviewer, and you say something like, every client is unique, so I always start with a thorough consultation. I ask about their skincare routine, any concerns they have, and their desired outcomes. Then I examine their skin, taking into account their skin type, any conditions like acne or rosacea, and their lifestyle.
That's a great start. You're showing that you're attentive and you're taking a holistic approach.
Right. And then you can build on that by mentioning some specific techniques you use to tailor treatments. You could say, for someone with dry skin, I might incorporate a hydrating mask or a serum with hyaluronic acid. And then for someone with acne, I might focus on extractions and recommend a salicylic acid cleanser for home care.
It's all about connecting the dots between the assessment, the treatment, and those home care recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can provide that targeted feedback based on the specific job description. So say you're interviewing at a spa that specializes in anti-aging treatments. The AI might suggest you highlight your experience with microneedling or chemical peels.
That is so helpful. It's like having an insider's guide to what employers are really looking for. Okay, so now what about safety and sanitation? I imagine that's a really big deal in the beauty industry.
Oh, absolutely. You might get a question like, how do you ensure client safety and sanitation in your work environment? And this is where you demonstrate your commitment to upholding the highest standards of hygiene.
Okay, so beyond saying, I wash my hands,
Yeah.
what are some key points to hit?
You really want to be specific and detailed. So talk about using disposable tools whenever possible, sterilizing non-disposable equipment after each use, and disinfecting surfaces between clients. You can mention specific products or procedures you follow, like using EPA-registered disinfectants or adhering to OSHA guidelines.
So it's about showing them you're not just aware of the rules, but that you actually practice them.
Exactly. You could say something like, I follow strict sanitation protocols to ensure a safe and healthy environment for both myself and my clients. I use a medical-grade autoclave to sterilize my instruments, disinfect all surfaces with hospital-grade cleaner, and I always wear gloves and a mask during treatments.
Okay, that paints a very clear picture of your commitment to safety. The interview guide also mentions questions about teamwork and handling conflict. Those always make me a little nervous.
I get it. But remember, these questions are less about the specific situation and more about how you approach challenges and work with others. A common one is, can you tell us about a time you had to deal with a difficult coworker or supervisor?
Okay, so it's not about bad-mouthing anyone, but about showcasing your communication and problem-solving skills.
Right. Think about a time you faced a disagreement or a challenging situation with a colleague. Briefly explain the situation and then focus on the steps you took to resolve it. Did you listen to their perspective? Did you compromise? Did you learn something from the experience?
Okay, so let's say I had a coworker who wasn't pulling their weight on a project. I could say, I noticed my coworker was struggling to manage their workload, so I offered to help them prioritize tasks and delegate some responsibilities to other team members. We worked together to find a solution that benefited everyone.
That's a great example. You highlighted your teamwork, your communication, and your problem-solving skills. And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful. It can analyze your answer and suggest specific keywords or phrases that resonate with employers in the beauty industry. Like, it might recommend mentioning your ability to maintain a positive and supportive team environment.
Wow, the AI really is like having a personal interview coach. Now, we've talked a lot about handling tough situations with coworkers and clients, but what about when a client is unhappy with a treatment? That seems like such a delicate situation to navigate.
You're right, it is. A common question is, how do you handle a client who is dissatisfied with their treatment? And the key here is to show empathy, professionalism, and a commitment to finding a resolution.
So instead of getting defensive or blaming the client, I should focus on listening to their concerns and offering solutions.
Exactly. You can say something like, I once had a client who was unhappy with the results of a facial. I listened carefully to their concerns, apologized for any inconvenience, and offered them a complimentary follow-up treatment to address their specific issues. I also made a note of their feedback to ensure I provide even better service in the future.
That shows that you take client satisfaction seriously and that you're committed to continuous improvement. And again, I'm guessing RoleCatcher's AI can help fine-tune this type of answer.
Oh yeah, for sure. It might suggest adding specific details about how you de-escalated the situation or the steps you took to prevent similar issues from happening again.
This has been so insightful. We've covered so much ground already. But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I'm curious about something. The guide also mentions career progression and specialization within the field of aesthetics. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Absolutely. One of the great things about this career is that there's room for growth and specialization. You can start as an entry-level esthetician, gain experience, and then move into more specialized roles like laser technician or medical esthetician. You could even open your own practice.
That's exciting. So it's not just a job, it's a career path with tons of possibilities.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's Career Guide provides a really great overview of the different specializations and the certifications you might need to pursue them.
This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like we've given our listeners some serious interview acing strategies, but we're not done yet. Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll dive even deeper into RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools, and we'll explore how they can help you land that dream job in the beauty industry. All right, welcome back to the grand finale of our esthetician interview prep. I'm feeling ready to unveil the secret weapon, RoleCatcher's AI.
You know, it's not just a secret weapon. It's a whole arsenal of tools that are going to help you stand out. So we've talked about the AI and how it gives feedback for interview practice. But now let's talk about the resume builder. It's not like your typical resume maker. This thing is powered by AI.
Hold on, AI for resumes.
Ah.
That sounds almost too good to be true. So how does that actually work?
Okay, so imagine this. You upload your basic resume, and then you paste in the job description for that dream esthetician role. And then RoleCatcher's AI gets to work. It analyzes both. And then it suggests keywords, phrases, even entire sections to highlight the skills and experience that that employer is looking for.
So it's not just about making my resume look pretty. It's about making it really speak to the person who's doing the hiring. That's genius.
Exactly. It's like having a recruiter whispering in your ear, telling you what you need to emphasize to get noticed. And the best part is it helps you avoid those generic, one-size-fits-all resumes that just get lost in the pile.
That's a game changer, especially in a competitive field like aesthetics. Okay, so we've got the AI helping with interview practice and making an awesome resume. But before we wrap up and send our listeners off to conquer the beauty world, let's recap those key takeaways for acing the interview itself.
Yes, definitely. Number 1, showcase your passion and your expertise. This career is more than just technical skills. It's about connecting with people and making them feel their best. So let that enthusiasm shine through.
Okay, love it. Number 2, practice those interview questions. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can be your personal coach. It gives you feedback and helps you tailor your answers to those specific job roles.
Yes, and then finally, don't underestimate the power of a strong resume. RoleCatcher's AI-powered resume builder can be like your secret weapon to stand out from the crowd and land that interview.
This has been such a great deep dive into the world of estheticians. I really feel like we've given our listeners the tools and the confidence they need to rock that interview and to launch a really fulfilling career in the beauty industry.
And remember, the job outlook for estheticians is amazing. With the right prep, a little bit of passion, and some help from RoleCatcher, you can totally achieve your dreams.
And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher's Career Guide. You'll get even more insights into the field. You might even discover a niche that really excites you, like medical aesthetics or laser treatments, or you could even specialize in a particular skincare line.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next week with another interesting topic. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep shining.